Brent, Gove, and James Stroop work really hard to bring phenomenal speakers to PCAR every single month. Can we give a round of applause for those guys? Now this month is a little different. This month, Ricky Carruth is speaking at our PCAR, our local association, not because of Brent and James. They certainly had a hand in it, but in large part because of a fellow by the name of Jason Hamilton. Jason, can you come up to the stage real quick? Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky would not be here if not for this guy, so thank you so much.
Well, I don't know what I'm going to say. This wasn't really planned for me to come up here today. So you guys all know who Ricky Carruth is. That's why most of you are in the room today. He's a phenomenal guy. I put on an event about a year ago out in Elk Grove, and I had Sean Kokoska come and speak. Sean suggested that I ask Ricky to come and speak. I reached out to him on Instagram, and he said no. Not no, he was busy, and obviously we understand that. So then about 6 months later, I ran into Ricky at a conference in Vegas. And I saw Ricky standing there talking to somebody, and it just looked like that conversation was going to end. And so I kind of waited, and I waited, and I waited. As soon as they stopped talking, I was like, hey, Ricky, hey, I talked to you on Instagram. And he was like, oh, yeah, I remember that, Sacramento. Sorry it couldn't work out. He said, I would love to do it. I've never been to Sacramento. Let's put something together. And so that's why he's here today. It took us a year to get him here because of his schedule, but I guarantee you it's going to be worth it. He's such a cool dude. We worked out this morning, very humble. So I'm done talking. Let's get Mr. Ricky Carruth up here.
Ricky Carruth from Gulf Shores, Alabama. I introduce you, he's number one, not top four. He's the man of the real estate industry. And he will get you leads, a lot more than you can fathom. Reach out to property owners and knock doors, get the data. Made $1 million first 3 years, lost everything. He's where he started, made it, lost it, made it back. Now in this industry, he is the largest. A lot of these coaches
Little golf clap.
Ricky, he does it for free, doesn't charge it. Got the sauce like he needed some tartar. He was broken, homeless.
How y'all doing? Thank you so much. Thank you guys for coming out. First time to Sacramento. Let's see, my wife and daughter, where they at? They went out to the car. So when they come back, they'll be like, all right? But yeah, we travel the world really and speak all over. We travel 3 times a month and speak, and they come with me everywhere. So really, it's them, because if they wouldn't come with me, I don't know that I would actually come, to be honest with you. But we go and we take little mini vacations everywhere we are. We can take a couple days and check it out and everything. So we're really having a lot of fun. How many of you guys, this is the first time you're seeing me? The first time you're seeing me? No, at all, ever in the world. Never heard of me before. Okay, cool. Welcome. No, good to meet you. He's like, thanks for coming out. I'm gonna go see this no-name guy from Alabama. Everybody else, you guys know that, number one, I'm not here to sell you anything. I have nothing to sell you. You know, I'm a very direct person, and if you need calling out, I'm gonna call you out. So we can get into a little bit of that in the Q&A later. I love question Q&A, I like to call people out. But very direct, gonna tell you like it is. My father says, give them meat and potatoes, son. Don't give them nothing else. And that's how it is, because I don't have anything to sell you. I can tell you exactly what I think without any ulterior motives, right? How many guys are new agents? Okay. First words of advice, never raise your hand or admit that you're a new agent. Don't tell nobody. That's what you see. No, I was a new agent in 2002. I was 20 years old. All right? How many people here were born in 2002 or after? Okay. I've been doing this longer than you've been alive. Now, I got into 2002, Gulf Shores, Alabama, of course. And it took me 8 months to get to my first deal. I roofed houses with my father before that. Got in real estate. It's like, I'm not going to roof houses forever. Failed a history class in college. I was like, I'm not going to do college either. Luckily, real estate, they're just like, anybody can be an agent. You don't have to really have many qualifications to become an agent these days. So 8 months to get to my first deal, then boom, the market blows up. Just explodes. A lot like what we just saw in 2021, right? Very similar, multiple offers, higher than asking price, no inventory. And then the market, of course, did what? Crashed. And I lost everything. Why? Because I'm 23. I had $1 million. I was buying Hummers and Cadillacs. I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought I was a real estate mogul. This is it. I'm retired. I'm the king of the world. Lost everything, and guess what? Went back to roofing. All right, so here's the story. Grew up roofing houses, got into real estate. Went to the office for 30 days, sold absolutely zero. Went back to roofing. So now it's roofing, real estate, roofing. Doing roofing and selling real estate on the side to try to get going. Finally sold a property, back in real estate full time. Then the market crashes. And guess what? Back to roofing. And it's my dad's business. So the whole time I'm like, I'm out of here, Dad. You know, I'm like, Dad, hey. But when I got back, now I went back to roofing houses, but when I got back in the business, that was 2008. Let me just give you just a basic screenshot of that moment. The easiest time in the world to sell real estate. Why? Prices were half off. You think, how hard do you think it is to find somebody who wants to buy a piece of property that's 50% off? Not hard. If prices went down 50% right now, what would happen? Would it be easy or would it be hard to sell? And honestly, if prices drop 50%, that means one thing: there's a lot of inventory. So people have options. How amazing of a market would that be for agents? Tons of inventory, half price, you know, who wants a house? It's easy. Right? So I'm just telling you that because that's not going to happen. Could it happen in our lifetime? Sure. Could it happen tomorrow? Maybe. Who knows? The chances are very slim. But if it did, we're good. And that's what I had to learn through losing everything, because when I lost everything the first time, I thought that my business was correlated to the market. If the market's doing great, my business is doing great. If the market's doing bad or crashes, my business is doing bad. Not the case. But we think that in the beginning, and when you believe that, that's what happens. Whatever you think, that's what happens. And you get caught up in it. And when the market slows down, you slow down with it. You don't see it for what the opportunity is, which is what I want to open your mind up to today. So, was somebody clapping? Damn. Thanks, Mom. That's what I want to open up your mind up to today. So, long story short, from that point, when I realized that, it's like, it's go time. I'm going to crush it now. But 2014, I was selling 100 properties a year, sold 100 properties every year since, single agent, one assistant, was a #1 RE/MAX agent for a while, #1 agent in my entire county. Even teams, I was beating entire teams for 8 years in a row. And honestly, every single person in here can do the same thing. It really comes down to one thing for me, and that was, I'm not the best, I'm not the greatest, I'm not the fastest, the smartest, the most efficient person, obviously. But I wasn't going to quit until I was the best in the world. Not the area, not the country, the world. That's why I'm here right this second. In 2017, I got bored, I'll admit, selling real estate. You know, once you get up there, it's like, what else is there? Let me go expand and become the best in the world at something else now. And that's when I started coaching, writing, speaking. And I got into that arena where I had to actually start doing social media. Never did social media from a real estate business. Still don't do social media from a real estate business. You should do real estate. You should do social media for your real estate business. I'm just telling you, you don't have to. Everybody wants to act like it's mandatory. And in my mind, You 100% should do it, but it's not mandatory for you to succeed or fail. That's shocking, right? Mom? But never stopping until you're the best in the world. When I was in high school, I'm gonna play football. Everybody laughed. I walked out of high school with a full paid scholarship, Missouri Valley College in Missouri. When I got in real estate, everybody laughed. You're too young. Number one agent in my entire county for 8 years in a row. Smoking the people that laughed. When I started making videos in 2017, you remember this, don't you, Mom? I always find somebody to pick on. Started making videos, what everybody do? Laugh. And 2 weeks ago, I'm in Vegas speaking after Bradley, after Andy Elliott, right? National news. There's 300 people here, would you say? And only 3 or 4 didn't know me. You guys are here because I said I was gonna come. That's because I started making videos in 2017. Now, that seems like a long time ago compared to right now. You think back to 2002, that sounds like a long time ago. This stuff takes a long time. When I got back in 2008, it was 2014 when I sold 100 properties for the first year. That's 6 years. After I made it, lost it, came back, figured out the secret to this whole thing, it still took me 6 years of grinding my ever-living face off to get to 100 deals. I haven't sold anything in 3 months. Crybabies. It's kind of like buyers right now, right? Aren't they a bunch of crybabies? What I'm saying is the secret is not caring how long it takes, but realizing you're not going to quit until you're the best in the world. Why aren't we trying to be the best in the world? We can read everything about people that are best in the world. We can watch them on YouTube. We can read books that they wrote. We have access to everything that the best in the world have. Why aren't we trying to become best in the world at what we do? That's my ambition. And that's why I'm here today. And hopefully, since you guys are in the room, see, it means something when you show up. Because it's way different than watching a YouTube video. If you're watching YouTube, then sorry. But being in the same room with a certain type of energy is a whole different level than watching a video. And it can literally change the entire trajectory of your career, your entire perspective. The way that you think, it's like if you think the market is correlated to your business, then that's what happens. It's all perception. And if you can realize what I'm going to teach you today, then you don't have anything to worry about, except for the fact that, are you going to continue until you're the best in the world? All right, let's make some noise. All right. Who wants to make $1 million? Oh, wait. Let me rephrase. Who's already making $1 million? Nobody? Okay. We want to make $1 million though, right? Okay. Then write it down right now. $1 million. You wrote it down? If you're not writing it down, then that tells me I don't want to make $1 million. I don't want to make $1 million. I'm not coachable. I'm part of the 99% of people who come to these things and leave and don't change anything in my business. That's who I am. Now, what's the first word? Don't just blurt it out, okay? Don't think about it. What's the first word that comes to mind when you hear the word Alabama? What? Okay, I can't hear you guys. It's brouhaha. Shrimp, Forrest Gump. All right, I was in New York and asked that. You know what they said? Mud. I said, I don't know about anything about no mud. Is the clicker working? There we go. Oh, I hit the wrong. There we go. Boom. I don't know nothing about no mud. All I know about is sand, baby. This is where I grew up. This is where I live. Of course, those buildings weren't there when I was born, but I watched all this build. Like these little buildings you see, they were there back then. But this is the Alabama Gulf Coast, right on the Florida line. Okay, it goes you take the Florida beaches and extend them about 40 miles into Alabama. And this is what it looks like. It's small town. There's 20,000 population, but we've got about 8 million visitors every year. So it's a huge tourist destination, if you will. Amazing restaurants, and we love it. We grew up there, all our family's there. The cost of living is amazing. We got the cheapest property taxes in the country, number one. But if you guys think, where do we go on vacation this year, right? Come to Gove Shores and let me know. We can go have a coffee. I'll show you around. Might even sell you a condo or two. But this is where I'm at, okay? So when people think Alabama, they think Forrest Gump, Roll Tide, mud. But I don't think anything about that, right? Because I'm living in a bubble down there, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Here we go. This is not to brag. This is just receipts. And this is to prove to you what is possible. This today is about you. It's not about me. It's about how you can go out and do whatever it is that you're trying to do. This is a screenshot of 8 years of MLS. The 8 years that I told you that I was number one in our county out of every agent, every single agent. There it is, black and white. This is just to show you what is possible. Now, how did I do this? This is the road I want to take you down. This is an illustration, not exact, but this gives you a good visualization of my business when I got back on the business in 2008. And if you realize that the red is the market, the blue is my business. The red continued to go down. These are prices, bottomed out in 2012 and started coming back up. My business, what I did on a day-to-day was no different from 2008 to 2009 to 2010, 2011. You only have so many hours in a day. Nothing I did was different, okay? Why did my business explode in 2013 and 14? That was the first year I did 100 deals. Because of all the work I did in 8, 9, 10, 11, building my base, building my foundation, expanding my footprint and my market. And I was really just treading water. My business was about flat, right, through that whole thing. But all of a sudden, when you combine your efforts and the seeds that you planted for years with a market surge, your business just explodes. It's like in 2021, a lot of you had an incredible year, right? Part of that was you, and part of it was the market. And this year, some of you are doing not so good, right? The market can't take you out, but it will fluctuate your business. And you want to put yourself in the best position possible to stair-step yourself every year and through the larger market cycles that happen once a decade. Every year there's a cycle. How do we take advantage of those cycles? To stair-step our income every year. Then you have the huge cycles, which we're in the downside of one now. How do we take advantage of those cycles? They're all to be taken advantage of. They're needed. See, this market cycle, and back in 2008, was needed for me to be able to get where I wanted to go. Without it, it would have taken longer because my business expanded with the market, right? So this is your 2008 right now. Now, Right now we're on track to do what? 4.2, 4.3 million transactions in the country, right? I actually have this. We're on track to do 4.2, 4.3 million transactions. Last year we did 5 million. The year before we did 6 million. This year we're doing 4.2-ish, okay? If you see here, back in 2008, we did 4.1 million transactions. We're literally at 2008 levels right now in terms of the number of transactions. This is 2008, right this second. The only reason that we haven't seen prices crash like back then is because there's no mortgage meltdown happening, right? They put so much regulation on lending after 2008 that it literally gave us so much cushion in the market. All the loans that are out there are solid loans. So many people have loans under 5%, 4%, 3%, right? Not very many have loans over 6%. And these are well qualified people. It's such a solid market right now. You know, the long tail of this is amazing. Because as mortgage rates come back down, we're going to see inventory come back up. We're going to see a lot more buyers than we see now. It's just going to be incredible. And this is what you have to start visualizing right now. I'll give you the quick visualization story for me. In 2008, I was like, bless you, man. Let me go out here and get all these foreclosure listings, right? The foreclosure agents are making $40K a month. Give it up for my wife and daughter. Let me go represent the banks and just get all these foreclosure listings. Well, guess what? I went down that road and I realized those people are slaves to the bank. I said, let me rethink this. Okay, foreclosures are happening now. I know that the market's going to rebound. Prices are going to come up. Foreclosures are half price now. If I represent the buyers there, they'll sell it in 2 years, upgrade to another one, and refer 3 people to me, and in 2 to 3 years, my business explodes. That was literally my visualization back then. And that's exactly what happened. So you have to visualize what's going to happen. The real estate market moves extremely slow. You can predict this stuff a mile away of what's coming. What the most probable, how many of you are a good test taker? Multiple choice, not very many? Oh God. Yeah. Y'all need some help. I always was. And so that's what this is for me. I can take the market and say, this is the most, maybe things go a different direction, but what's the chances? And now, when you bet big on what the highest probability is on what the market might do over the next 3 to 5, and you bet big there and you win big. And if the market doesn't do that, guess what? You still win. You can't lose. So that's how so right now we need to think, okay, where's the market going? Well, over the next 2 to 3 years, mortgage rates are going to come down. We may or may not be peaked out. We're somewhere close to peaked out, but they're going to drift down slowly over the next 2 to 3 years. It's going to open up so much inventory and so many buyers. I'm going to get into demand and everything else, but right here, you see it took 5 years to get back to 5 million transactions from 2008 to 2013, 5 years. Not going to happen this time. It's going to be a violent resurgence back to 5 million transactions, either next year or the year after, right? I think next year, my prediction is like 4.8-ish to 5 mil, and then well over 5 mil the year after that. Now, here we go. Let's get into it. You guys know all the people that say, it's going to crash, right? Price is going to drop 35%, blah, 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 right? And they're getting like 400,000 views per video saying this stuff with really nothing to back it up. Now, what's going to happen? This is median home prices. What do you see that happens every single year? It's an Alabama thing. Every fall, it trickles down all the way to around January, into January, and it comes back up, and it shoots up, and then falls back down through the fall. Now, We're starting to see prices soften right now, right? Are you guys seeing that here? Market's kind of slowing down a tick. Happens every year at the same time. Nothing new. But what we're going to start to see in the data and in the headlines and on YouTube is here's the crash I was talking about. I'm already seeing it. Here's the crash I was talking about. No, this is what happens every single year, you dipshit. So it happens every single year. This isn't the crash, right? And the same guys were saying prices will be down like 30, 40% right now. While I've been saying for the past 3 or 4 months, we're going to hit all-time highs. We're going to go positive year over year. So I want you to realize this right here is that we're going to see prices soften for the rest of the year. Don't worry about it. That's fine. But get the media out of your head about this. Stay on track. Build your database. Do the things you need to do. This is mind-blowing. This is homes sold, the number of transactions, 2021, 22, and so far through 2023. What do you see there? Look at the correlation. Wow, it blows my mind. Look at how every year it starts out down, starts to pick up the same time of year, and then you see halfway through the year, you see that little V, how they all line up. That's insane. And then look through the rest of the year. Look at the rest of the little V's and the little ebbs and flows. That's absolutely insane how seasonal this business really is. Now, you see that 2021 and 22 peaked out about this time of year and then started to come down. We're going to see it this year. Okay? We're going to see it this year just like we see every year. And what's even more interesting, 2021, the year of the boom, right? 100,000 over asking price, 30 offers per listing, right? Sales went down in the second half of the year during the boom year. Is that eye-opening to you? What were we all doing April 28th, 2020? You guys are in California, so this was even probably worse. Alabama, I was still like having parties and showing condos and like, we're like super spreader. What is that? We were all locked in our houses, right? Couldn't leave. Were we scared to death of the unknown? Did we think our family was going to die of a virus we knew nothing about? Were we going to die? Or do we even have jobs anymore? Is the whole financial system going to crash and burn? We didn't know anything, right? Was anyone here not scared out of their mind about what life would look like? No, everybody was scared out of their mind, right? You weren't? You were just like, you know, Corona. You're like, is that a beer? Okay, we're still locked in our homes. Still locked in our homes. Economy's not open back up yet. I put out a video and I said, the real estate market's going to surge harder than we've ever seen. At a point when we were scared to death as a country. It's still on YouTube. How did I see that? Why did I think that? Because of two things. One, when I see a retraction of transactions, I only know that's building up demand. And when that rubber band gets let go, it's like a rocket ship, number one. So when I saw all that business leave so fast, 20% down transactions and pending deals during that 45-day shutdown. When I saw that, and then I saw stimulus starting to happen, it was a no-brainer for me that the market was going to explode. I didn't know it was going to go on for a year and a half, right? But I knew that we were fixing to see something monumental. This December, on 6th, in a video, I said, this is the bottom for home prices. I was about a month early, but I'll take it. Right, Mom? January 12th in Vegas, I said, we're about to see this massive surge. This is in January. We're about to see this massive surge as buyers as interest rates start to soften. Interest rates softened we saw a massive surge of buyers, and this is when we started seeing multiple offers on everything. Remember that in spring? And then here more recently, I said, not only are we about to go positive year over year prices, but we're about to see all-time new highs. This is long before any of this was even coming close to being a reality, right? So again, educated, like I'm a professional educated guesser. I can look at the data and I can say, this is the most probable chance of happening. How can I take advantage of this? So we saw prices. They hit all-time new highs. This is from Redfin. It shows prices. When that blue line was about halfway, okay, about halfway, that's when I realized that we're going to go, I knew for a fact we're going to go positive year over year, because the 2022 wall from June to, say, August, see how that went straight down? It created a wall that I felt there was no problem we were going to bust right through that. At the time, I didn't realize that we were more than likely going to go to all-time new highs, but look at what's happening. Do you see the very top of the blue line, how it's starting to level off just a tad? That's the beginnings. And in 2021, the orange, the year of the boom, look what happened. Prices went down during that time. Is that amazing? Am I clicking on anything? Real estate is local, Ricky. It's so hyper-local. You're talking national numbers. It means nothing. Here's some of the hardest hit markets: Sacramento, Phoenix, Austin, San Francisco. Prices bottomed out in January. Boom, boom, boom. People try to call me out all the time. I said, things are going to slow down in the fall. Well, that doesn't apply to New York or South Florida. I looked at the data and I replied back, yep, the last 2 years prices went from this to this in Metro New York, in Miami, in South Florida. People don't even look at data. They just, I think I'm going to send this guy a message. What goes up must come down, right? Prices are so high, got to come down. Gonna come down, no doubt about it. They can't stay like this. This is appreciation of homes in the U.S. going back to 42. The green is positive appreciation years. You can look at that without even looking at the numbers and just do the colors and see where I'm about to go with this. Back in the 40s, there were 5 years of double-digit appreciation. Double-digit for 5 years. And they said, what goes up must come down. No, it did 2, 0, 4, 6, 4, 12, 1, 0, 1, 3. It continued. It never had a negative year. That doesn't mean that it might not have dipped negative and ended up the year positive. This is 12-month calendar year appreciation. That doesn't mean there weren't some micro ebbs and flows of prices. But we didn't end the year negative. If you go to the 70s, remember that? No, you were born in 2000. Interest rates went to 18, 19%. Everybody's like, oh, remember them days? It's just about to get bad. Well, when you look at those days and you see 6 years of great growth, 4 of which were double-digit appreciation years, what goes up must come down. Well, right after all that, we had a 7%, a 5, a 1, a 5, a 5, a 7, a 10, a 8, a 7, a 4. It was a good deal to buy real estate, even in 79, when it was at the peak of the 6-year run and went up 17% that year. You still would have won. Even just the next year, you were up. And then we get into the 2000s. We have the run-up with the mortgage subprime lending meltdown. And this was the first real moment. Of course, we had that cumulative 2-year drop of 1% in the early 90s. And some places had it worse than others. I believe here may have seen a little bit of a lot of a downturn during that time. So it is local, but generally speaking here, and we saw that 50% drop in the late 2000s. Here more recently, we had two years of double-digit appreciation years. and we're going nuts about it. And what goes up must come down. Well, maybe, but what are the chances? Right? And how can I put myself in a position to win either way? That's what I like, win-win. Recession's coming. Yeah, right. It might. But to us, if prices come down, again, I'll start with how I say this from what I started with. If prices go down, think of how easy it is to sell real estate. If you see transactions slow and inventory go up and prices start to go down, don't think, oh my God, let's start backtracking and maybe I need to get out of the business. Maybe I need to find another job. You need to say, oh, here we go. Let me lean into this. Let me find people that want to buy, need to buy at lower prices. You got to lean in. You can't back off of this business. There's too many agents that want your position in the market. But the point of this one was prices don't go down during recessions. It did in 2008. We might have seen a little bit of a blip there in the early 90s. But they hold solid, which they've been holding solid. Look, if prices were going to go down, don't you think they would go down if mortgage rates more than doubled, the quickest that we've ever seen it? Don't you think that they wouldn't be hitting all-time new highs a year later? It takes time for the system to work itself out. Great. Well, in the meantime, I'm just going to sit here and crush it until this happens. Unaffordability. Wah, wah, wah. Monthly mortgage payments. This is going back to 89. Looks horrifying, right? Right? A lot of buyers having a hard time. And they are having a hard time. And I'll tell you why. Not they, everyone, all of us, me, you, everybody was spoiled of our situation over the last decade and a half of how cheap money was and how cheap prices were and how low mortgage payments were. I mean, look at that. During the 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, we were even lower, like not even inflation adjusted numbers. We were lower mortgage payments than in the 90s. That's insane. I mean, inflation did grow between the 90s and the after 2010. That's insanity. And they're upset that that world doesn't exist anymore. Now, if we adjust this to inflation, what do we see? Oh, now it's starting to become a much clearer picture when you adjust mortgage payments to inflation. Now we're seeing that, yeah, we're a little high, but all we're doing is getting back to normal of the 90s and the early 2000s. We're just getting back to normal. We've been spoiled. We, all of us, not the ones that can't afford houses, all of us were spoiled. I should have bought more. You should have bought more. We all should have bought more during that time. But we didn't realize how good it really was until now. And that's normally the case. You don't realize how good something is until you lose it. But you see the spoiledness, right? Now let's take a look at mortgage payments as part of your household income. We see the same thing. Getting back to normal, spoiled. Same thing. And so this is the new norm, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't going away. We're not going to see those days anymore. Even if we get mortgage rates back down to 4%, which I think is a possibility over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, prices are going to be higher. Real estate prices are going to continue to go up. So we're still going to have high mortgage payments compared to what they were, compared to our household income. This isn't going away. And buyers are starting to get used to the new norm as well. I'm sure you guys are seeing that. And it's just going to continue. And you guys know the foreclosure situation, right? I don't have to cover this with you. We're not even half of where we were pre-pandemic. And Black Knight just came out and said we're still at historical low numbers. You see some articles and you see some emails, pre-foreclosures delinquencies up like millions of % and stuff. And I'm thinking, well, number one, look at the equity that we have in our homes. On average, if someone's delinquent, why wouldn't they just sell the property and make $100,000 and go rent somewhere for a couple years until they figure it out? That's what they are going to do. Not all of them. You'll still see foreclosures trickling through. But for the most part, people are just going to sell. They got a couple $100,000 worth of equity on the table. They can just sell it. They're not in trouble when it comes to that. The real housing crisis is amongst us. Inventory. This goes back to 1980. In the 80s, we had 2 to 3 million worth of homes for sale. 2 to 3 million in the 80s. And we're at 700,000 right now. 700 now in a country that has 30% more existing homes, population. 2 to 3 million back then, 700,000 now. It's insanity. And right here is really bad. You're down 37% right this second compared to last year in Sacramento. Now, you know what I see when I see that? I see there's 63% of people still listing their homes. Let's go. Let me find them 63. There's a lot of people listing. That's when I see that, I'm like, yes, we still got 63% of people listing their homes. I don't say, oh no, we're down 40%. What are we going to do? I say, there's 63% listing. We got to go find them before somebody else does. Does that make sense? Make some noise then. Okay, what's going to happen short and long term? And this is just my theory. Short term, I've already went over. We're going to see prices soften. We're going to see transactions soften in the fall. What does that mean for you? You should have already been, and if not right now today, going all in to talk to as many people as you can to build momentum going into the fall so that your business doesn't suffer as much. If you're getting used to the market now and you're kind of just sliding by, you're treading water, you're really going to be sucking wind when the market dips a little bit in this season. If you're struggling right now, you're really going to be struggling in a couple of months. It's not going to get better. Activity isn't going to pick up. You've got to create the business. You've got to pick your business up. Long term, we're going to see mortgage rates continue to dwindle over the next couple of years. It's going to open up so much inventory and demand. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be euphoric for us. But if we know the wave is coming, the only answer is to build your database to the moon so that you have so many people that love you, that want to do business with you. The people right now, the sellers who don't want to sell because mortgage rates are high, they don't want to sell, they're sitting on 3% interest, there's nothing to buy, they don't want to pay 7% interest anyway. Those are the ones you want. You want to stack thousands of those in your database and stay in touch with them. Don't let any of them forget who you are, because when the market flips, every single day, they hate their house more and more and more. They got handcuffs. Somebody said they're golden handcuffs. They're locked into their home, right? They want to move. They need an extra bedroom. They're tired of the view. They need to relocate, whatever it is, but they won't because their mortgage rates are locked into. You don't think every day that goes by, they're like, damn, I hate this house. That demand is brewing, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a tsunami coming. And if you're not the one contacting people, you need to be thinking, how many of these people can I find that are locked into their homes that I can create a friendship with and make sure that they think about me when they decide to do something? That should be your entire game right now. And guess what? Playing that game affords you so many people across your path that want to do deals today as well. Now you're going to win short and long term at the same time. Am I plucking any heartstrings in here? Oh no. Y'all weren't supposed to meet. Uh-oh. Gotta find her on one level. I saw this article Zonda put out, right? What was it? 98% of millennials want to become a homeowner. 72 million millennials in the country. Now, we don't know what the situation was with the survey. Did they survey 1,000 millennials, 10,000, whatever? It's really high, though, that millennials want to be homeowners, right? They want to build their own equity instead of someone else's equity. Okay? Follow me here. I said, when I saw this, I thought, let me dig a little deeper. So I Googled and I said, average age of a first-time home buyer. And I found that NAR came out and said in 2021, it was 33, and in last year it was 36. So I'm thinking 33 to 36-year-olds are your prime first-time home buyers. And 98% of them want to become homeowners. And we already know that between 2017 and now, the number of millennials who own homes went from 11 million to 17.5 million. So we already know that this stat has a lot of merit. It may not be exactly 98%, I don't know, but we know that this stat holds a lot of merit because the number of millennials who own homes have went up dramatically. So we're at so I'm thinking, okay, 33 to 36, 33 to 36. Let me dig in a little deeper here. How many 33-year-olds are there this year? So I said birth rates. And if I go back to 1990, 33 years ago, what do I see? I see this, not a blip, not a little, I see a massive spike in birth rates back in 1990, which is right there, illustrated. There's more 33-year-olds, the people that turn 33 this year, than we've seen in decades. Next year, they're 34. The next year, they're 35. And next year, another batch. Because you see, the birth rates stay at that level and even peak higher at the end, towards 2009-ish or whatever. We have decades. And this is 33-year-olds. Now, even at the end of this, you see birth rates drop off. Even at the end there, those 33-year-olds are turning 34, 35, 36. We have so many decades of more. We have more pent-up demand right now, historically, than we've ever seen. Not just because of birth rates, because of the people that are locked in their homes, that hate their homes more and more every day, because of the amount of people who want to become homeowners, who are in their prime buying age years. Another thing I was thinking about was immigration. People moving to the country as well. Right? They need places to live. They're buying houses. They're also renting houses. Renting houses, guys, drives prices up. This whole thing is primed to continue. I don't believe we're going to see double-digit years like we have seen. I would love to see just steady growth from here. And let's just get to work as an industry, as real estate agents, to help these people become homeowners because that's what they want. You shouldn't take a prospect and try to sell them or convince them or try to close them, set an appointment, get them to sign a contract. What you should do is ask them what they want to do and help them do it. And that's what we have here, ladies and gentlemen. We have many decades of so much job security for you to go out there and help people buy homes and sell homes. You guys with me? All right. Now, what does all this mean for your business? Just blurt it out. $1 million. What's that?
Talk to as many people as possible.
Talk to many people as humanly possible.
And send them emails.
And send them emails.
Every week at the same time.
Every week on the same time. Got one from there, got you. You've been waiting your whole life to do that, haven't you? Opportunity! Anybody over here?
Prospect. It's unlimited.
I'll tell you what it has to do with your business. Mom, we've been through this. It don't mean anything. Who cares? Go out there and help people do what they want to do. It's unlimited. You can't do it all. That's why there's so many agents. How many agents are in Sacramento?
14,000.
14,000. How many of them sell properties every year?
1,000.
There you go. You got 1,000 people. The market surges back 110% of the time. 110, not 100, not 90, not 98, 110. It always surges back. You have to put yourself in position where your business is positioned to take advantage of the resurgence. And of course, closings happen every day by the truckloads for the rest of your life, regardless of market conditions. If you go back to dot-com crash, 2008, 9/11, pandemic, whatever you want to go back to, go back and look at the county records, look in the MLS and see how many closings were happening every single day during the scariest economic times in our history. They were happening every day. Now, if you go back right now and you look at 2008 numbers, that whole 5-6 year span of the market, and you look at those numbers and you see number of transactions, just go local. Number of transactions, prices, inventory, the whole picture of the market. You know what you say when you go back and you look at all that? You say, that wasn't so bad. That was actually a pretty good market, right? But at the time, people thought we were dying. You look back, knowing how it played out, you're like, man, that was a good market. When you look at all these economic downturn moments and you realize that real estate just kept on trucking, then things start clicking a little bit. And you're like, you know what? Market can't take me down. Other agents can't take me down. The only person take me down is me if I don't have the right perception about how this business and this industry actually operates. Keep it simple. I'm not going to tell you how to go talk to property owners because everybody has a different opinion. I don't care how you talk to property owners, but you need to be talking to them. If you're not talking to them, you're going to be talking to somebody. Bill collectors, lawyers, bankruptcy people. Talk to property owners, make a great first impression, do a weekly email. Boom, you're done. You can snowball that into $1 million a year business over time. It's not hard. You just have to think one thing. I'm not going to stop until I'm the very best in the world. Again, got back in 2008 after losing everything. Sleeping in my car. Sleeping on friends' couches, eating out of people's refrigerators, working on an oil rig for a year, roofing houses, serving tables. No bills. Why did I do all that? I love to work. But when I got back in, it took me 6 years before I hit 100 deals. You just don't stop until it happens. I don't know how long it's going to take you, but I know that you can get there if you don't stop until it happens. Follow this simple formula. Can't be that simple. Yes, it is. People want to create, they want to make jobs for themselves. I'm going to call my database every year. Why? That's creating a new job for yourself. Don't you want a business that just deals fall in your lap every day? Right. So don't create all these extra jobs for yourself. Have simple processes that snowball into the exact business that you want. Residual business that deals fall in your lap every day. Now we know that's the goal, right? Now we have to visualize how to do it. It's real simple. Daily goal. Make 5 new friends or property owners. What happened? Did I break it?
No, it should click through. Oh, sorry.
Something happened there. Okay. Where was I?
5 new friends.
Nah. All right. NAR did a study. What do you think? Okay, you remember you raised your hand. You haven't seen me before. What do you think the number one reason why a buyer or seller picks their agent is? No. I'm asking him.
They got a postcard or something.
They got a postcard or something. That's possible. NAR did a study, and you just tell me what you think about this. At the end of a deal, if you sit down with a buyer or a seller, and you say, how'd you pick your agent? Okay? The most common answer is, I had a friend in the business with a great reputation. That's the most common answer. Does anybody disagree with that? That was a real survey that they did. That was a real study that they did. They had a friend in the business. Now, how they met that person might have been on social media. It might have been on a postcard. It might have been a cold call. It might have been met them around town. Maybe they know somebody. Whatever it was, they came in contact, and then there was a conversation that was had, and it manifested into a relationship, and they liked them, right? And then they felt like that was their friend. They felt like it was their friend that was going to take care of them if they ever wanted to buy or sell anything. They're a real estate agent. This is what they do. So we need to think about that for 1 second and think, what is the real goal to build your business? To make as many friends with property owners in your market as you possibly can. Whoever has the most friends with property owners who never forget who they are, that know who they are, what they do, and they're here to help, that's who wins the entire game. It's over at that point. You're going to outsell every single person, and guess what? It's residual at that point. You know, you work really hard to build the database up to the point, but then when all those people know who you are and that you're here to help and you're not trying to just close them and that you're a true friend, you wake up with deals. People emailing you, calling you, hey, I want to look at this, I want to buy that, I want to list this, I want to sell this and buy that, all day long. And when you get to that place in your business, people aren't interviewing 3 agents. They're calling one agent, you. They did a deal with you. They know somebody that did a deal with you. Whatever it is. They're not interviewing 3 agents. Right now, on the front end, you're competing against every other agent. There's 2 other agents you're competing against. You're trying to get lower on commission, trying to out-market the person. That's not what the business looks like on the back end. It's real fun. When I was at my peak in full production, doing 100 deals a year, after I quit prospecting and just do the weekly email, that's all I did, I was spending 10 to 15, maybe 20 some weeks, hours on my business. And it's 2 deals a week too. Oh my God, 100 deals. It's 2 deals a week. That's not a lot. It's 2 a week. So again, perspective. 5 new friends a day were property owners. Weekly email on the same day of the week forever. Watch the MLS hot sheet every day for new listings, pendings, closed, expireds. Scan through all that data every day. Scan through that data. You become a market expert overnight. You see properties that spark a client that you talked to 2 weeks ago, or you see something in a subdivision that you sold another house in, you want to call and check on it. It does so many things for you. You literally become an expert overnight. Make calls from 9 to 12. Oh God. I don't care who you call. I was talking to a lady a couple days ago. Let's see, she gets Facebook leads, right? And so she gets Facebook leads. And I said, okay, take me through your day. We're on a coaching call. Take me through your day. Tell me what you do. Well, I get up and do this and that, and then I call Facebook leads for 2 hours, right? Every single lead gen activity comes right back to the same thing. What is that? Sure, but what it does is it creates a list of people for you to sit down and call, right? You do Facebook ads, it creates a list of people, you sit down and call. You do an open house, you get everybody to sign the sign-in sheet, list, next day, call them, hey, what'd you think? Zillow, list to call, cold calling, Sphere, you write down everybody. Every single thing is a list to sit down and call, right? YouTube, it's all to create a list of people to sit down and call. So when you start to think about that situation where you're spending 2 hours a day calling Facebook leads, right? You're putting the time in, sitting down to make the calls, okay? You've got to that part where you realize that's the thing, okay? Now how can we take that thing to the next level and be the most efficient, right? It comes down to who we're calling. Okay, so who are the highest quality prospects? Homeowners who buy and sell, right? So can you call all the property owners, all the homeowners in your market ever in your life? You can? Absolutely not. It'll never happen. And if it did, you have to call them all back because they change their mind every 5 minutes. You guys know that. But let's stick on you can never call them all, which you can't. It's an unlimited abyss to call the highest quality prospects. Why would you do anything else? Why are you calling Facebook leads? You could be calling people that already own the properties. People that have a buyer-based business. I think, I've never been there, so it's kind of like I'm trying to think about what a crazy person does when I'm sane, right? So it's kind of hard for me to put my mind in that scenario, but I hope that their goal is to sell enough buyers to where they have this huge database of owners because they sold them all the properties. And now they're more listing based as time goes on. So then they have these different stages of their business. They have the buyer agent stage, and then they have the listing agent stage where they're more listing based, right? And that's what they're thinking. And I'm thinking, why even do the buyer agent part? You can just go straight to the property owners right now and skip that stage and go right to the property owners. I know a guy who sold 86 million last year on YouTube, all YouTube. And he said 98% were buyers that came from YouTube. And he sold all these properties. It's 98% YouTube. 98% buyers. And I'm thinking, when I'm at my house at 6:30 and I got 30 listings, 4 or 5 of them are being shown by people who are doing YouTube videos. Right? Right? See, we're all making money at 6 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock at night. It's just, do you want to be the one showing the properties? Or do you want to be the one at the house chilling? Right? We all have the decision to make. You decide because it's all at your fingertips. You can very easily go get a bunch of buyers, or you can really easily go get a bunch of property owners who, by the way, are the very best buyers. Owners are the very highest quality buyers. Why would you talk to anyone else? Right? Doesn't make any sense to me, but there again, I'm from Alabama, I'm a little different. I got think about things a little differently. But I want to succeed now. And I don't want to go through the stages, right? If you notice the very top producers, they see these stages and they just bust right through them. Let's just take cold calling, for example. I'm scared to make calls, so that's the first stage. Second stage is you make the calls, realize you're not going to die. Then, wasn't a joke, but I'll take it. Realize you're not going to die. The next stage is, okay, I'm calling, cool. Now what do I say to these people? The next stage is, all right, I got the verbiage, now how do I say it? And the next stage is learning to read the other person on the phone. The top producers, they just bust right through those. Versus the average people who don't make it in the business, they get stuck in a stage. I'm scared, right? I'm gonna be a buyer's agent forever, right? That's not the highest producers. The higher producers, they don't have any fear. They just go. Why? Because they know an alligator is not gonna bite them. And they're not going to die. They're okay taking a risk, putting themselves out there, because guess what? Risk reward, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not willing to make the risks, you're not going to get the rewards. Y'all like y'all watch or listen to a rap song. You're like, I hear you. Preach that shit, Ricky. Oh, and guess what? 9 to 12, we're going to make calls, and then guess what? You're going to do social media all afternoon. Crush it. It's free. It gets you exposure. Do it. Do it. See, when you combine old school and new school, I say old school, but it's not really old school. Like the way you succeed now is prospecting. Here's the difference. You can take calls, you can take social media out and still succeed. You can't take the calls out and still succeed. Oh yeah? Well, I'm doing social media and I'm succeeding quite well, Ricky. Yeah, you're getting the leads and then you're doing what with them? Calling them. You're still calling, bro. You're still calling. You didn't take calls out of the equation, man. Boom. Startmyweeklyemail.com. I've got every email that I still create my emails every week. My dad handles the day-to-day. I still create the emails every week. That's my baby. That's how our business continues to roll. 2 deals a week, 2 deals a week, 2 deals a week. I have every email I've done since November right there. And you can just use my same template. And we're about to come out with a 4-week template with Constant Contact. A 4-week template, week 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can rotate those through the month, every month, right? Week 1, stats of the month. And we've got it laid out. It's like the template is almost a training session. It tells you exactly how to lay it out, very simply. Stats of the month, restaurant of the month. Reply back, here's my experience of this restaurant. Here's a great picture of it. Reply back for a chance to win a gift card. Week 3 is deal of the month, listing of the month. Your favorite deal, the best deal you can find. Week 4 is breaking news of the month. You just rotate these every month. People are overcomplicating it. That's why I just went ahead and let me just create a 4-week template. Right?
Thank you.
You already knew about that. This is a screenshot of, let's see, this is back in May-ish. But you can see mine goes out to 19,000 people. And I've got 7,500 that open it every week. Okay, it's a 40% open rate. It's 30, 40% is where you want to be, right? Where do you get property owners? RedXDiscount.com. GeoLeads Plus, Expireds Plus, Multi-Line Dialer. Listen, Expireds? You guys, who hates Expireds? Come on, up high. I want to see you. Yeah. Okay. Why?
I just haven't had really good luck with calling.
Okay. What do you tell them when you call them?
I tell them that I say that their property's been on for a long time and that if they wanted to make an appointment with me to talk about
Click.
get it sold right.
You're not talking to them like they're your mom or dad. Now, what kind of leads do you get? Zillow or what's your thing? Your lead gen? How do you get leads?
So I've been with Coldwell Banker for 20 years and most of my sphere is just people that I've worked with.
So you don't really get leads. You just kind of have your database and you kind of work that.
I mean, I get leads. I get leads through like Redfin. I partner with them.
Okay. Now, when you call those leads, what do you say on those conversations?
I just say, hey, you sent me your information. You want to buy a property. I'm here to help you. Type of thing.
Boom. See, if you would talk to the expireds like you talk to the Redfin buyers, your business would explode. You're classifying these as 2 different type of leads when they're the exact same person. You should say, hey, I saw your house was on the market. Whatever happened with that? What can I do to help? So you just told the Redfin person, what can I do to help? But you told the expired person, would you like to set an appointment up with me? That's 2 different strategies when it needs to be the same. What do you want to do? Why? What's going on? And what can I do to help? The Redfin strategy is great. That's perfect. Now, if I can get you to do that with expired, your business will explode. Expireds plus, you can go back 10 years worth. We don't have a lot of expireds. We live in a small town. See, I got like 2 expireds a day in my market. But with this, I can go back 10 years worth of expireds, withdrawals, and cancels. Now I got leads for the rest of my career. Now these are the very best conversations. Why? You call a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old expired, and you say, hey, I saw you were trying to sell this house at one point. Whatever happened with that? And you just listen. It's amazing what happens. They just start telling you a story. Because what happens is you sound like a detective trying to get to the bottom of a case. And now they become your helper. Let me help you get to the bottom of this. Oh, we sold that back then. Oh, okay, cool. Where'd you guys move to? Do you like it? Do you buy rental properties? Are you going to move again soon? What can I do to help you? Do you have an agent you normally work with? I'd love to work with you if you guys ever decide to do anything. Is it okay if I stay in touch? Great. What's a good email? Bam, weekly email. Now they never forget who I am. And I'm just stacking. What's this slide going to be? It's almost a mystery for me too. If you want to do 1 deal a week, let me go back. Let's see, volunteer. How many active buyers and sellers? You're a coach, agent. Let's see, everybody's looking down at their phone like, please don't pick me, please don't pick me, please don't pick me. I've never seen so many. How many active buyers and sellers, like people that might buy or sell something in the next 6 months with you? How many of those are you working with right now?
Probably about 6.
4 is the most common answer, right? That's why I said that. You're pretty close to it, which is where just about everyone is. Now the problem is statistically, 4 statistically is 0.8 deals, which is nothing. So you're barely working on 1 deal, statistically. Maybe 2 or 3 buy or whatever, but statistically, you're working on like 1 deal right now. Okay, just statistically speaking. If you want to close 1 deal a week, every week, and this is not a theory, this has been tried and true for years and years and years of my coaching students and my own business. If you want to close 1 deal a week, 15 to 20 active buyers and sellers at all times. Now, when somebody, you got to maintain that list and take people off that list that ghost you, move forward with you or another agent, decide they don't want to do a deal. You got to take them off. That's not a true number now. You have to maintain and know exactly what that list is, and you got to add people to the list as people drop off. If you maintain, I'm talking active, not when they become inactive and you're still counting that as a number, active. You will close 1 deal a week. Guaranteed. You want to close 2 deals a week? 25 plus. This is what I did for 8 years in a row. And I closed 2 deals a week. 2 for 8 years. What's 52 times 8? Like 400 and something. That's what I did. 25 plus active buyers and sellers. Now the cool part is once you build your database up to that point, that you're making the amount of money you want to make, you don't have to prospect anymore a day in your life. And you just keep doing that weekly email and you close 1% of your database. If you want to close 50 deals a year, build it up to 5,000. You want to close 100 deals a year, build it up to 10,000. In 2017, my database was at 10,000. I made $1 million. That was the first year I made $1 million, and I quit. I never prospected another day in my life. And I didn't do postcards. I didn't follow up and say, hey, how you been? I didn't do any CRM stuff like, hey, isn't it your dog's birthday? I didn't do client appreciation parties, postcards, any social media whatsoever. I just did one thing, the weekly email on the same day of the week forever. And I continued to make $1 million every year after that in real estate commissions. And that's the fun place to be, because guess what? They're not interviewing 3 agents. You're not running all around town with new buyers. You're talking to people that want to do deals right now, and you're just servicing. You're just servicing. It's a really fun place to be, but you got to really work your ass off to get there. But that should be the goal. That's the dream. And every single person in this room can do it. Let's get on a call. Text me. Text me here. I'll give you a link. You can apply for a free coaching call. You can have a copy of today's slides and all the data. This is the time when you take out your phone. Let me show you. Like this. Also, expired listing training replay that I did with my team a couple weeks ago that was absolutely insane. And also my scripts and 60-day challenge, everything. I'd love to have a coaching call with you guys. I love talking to the higher producers, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million. Even if you're not doing anything though, apply for a call. Anybody still need this? 251-312-8844. All right. So you guys remember the stat? I saw a slide. It's like 2 years ago or something. It said through half the year, only 8% of realtors closed 4 deals or more. You guys remember that slide that kind of went around on social? I saw that and it made me think. And then when I ask people how many active buyers and sellers they're working with, every single time it's 4. And so I was like, there's that 4 number again. And then every single time I do a presentation, it could be thousands of people or 4 people. When I come back the next week and say, how many people did the fitness challenge or read the book or made the calls or whatever the challenge was, you know how many people actually said that they did it? 4, right? No matter how many people it is. So I started to think there's something behind 4, right? There's a power of 4. And what I'm thinking is, I'm looking around, I'm trying to think like, who's the 4 people in this room? Right? So help me out. If you're gonna be one of the 4 people, make some noise. That's more than 4. And that was kind of weak, if you guys want to be honest. If you're gonna be one of the 4 people that takes something I said here, whatever little piece it was, and say, bam, that was the eureka moment. That was my aha. I can go out there and actually build $1 million business over the next 3 to 5 to 10 years. If you're one of those 4 people, because there's only 4 in here, there's a lot of wannabes. If you're one of those 4 people, let me hear you. Okay. You ain't gonna do shit. Cool, guys. Hey, that's my presentation. Thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate you guys having me in Sacramento. I hope you got a lot out of this, and you can take back with your business and really crush it. I'm gonna do some Q&A. I'm here as long as you guys want. Do we have mic runners?
Ricky, I wanted to say that I'm working your expired script, and that's what's gotten me over my fear of being able to accomplish it. So thank you.
Give it up for her.
Hi Ricky, I finally get to meet you. We are an avid fan. She got me to listen to you on Instagram. I'm a new agent. I passed February 15th, hang my license at Lyon, Elk Grove, March 1st. I got my first deal 6 weeks after.
Mm-hmm.
And I got it from Facebook, you guys.
Yeah.
The power of social media.
Yeah.
So my question is, to make my $1 million, I'm scared. Sorry, because I know I can do this. Do you work with a team? Do you have a team?
No, absolutely not.
You did it on your own.
And no disrespect to any teams at all, right? But I'm not gonna give somebody 50% for giving me a bullshit lead, and I'm not gonna take 50% from somebody. Humans are everywhere. Humans, AKA leads, they're everywhere. You found one on Facebook. You can call them all day long.
I found my second one also on Facebook. Don't know them. They've never seen me before. I'm a new agent, and I'm working on my second deal from Facebook.
Yeah, nice, congrats.
How's it going, Ricky? Miguel here.
Hey, Miguel.
Hey, so I have a pretty big database, and I haven't really tapped into it. Kind of in the question of how do I start? What do you start with to start, emailing? Because they get houses and things like that from me, but how do you switch it from just sending houses to actually having that good content and things to create traction?
The thing that stands out is your opinions on things, right? So when you send a house, also say why you're sending the house, why you think it's a good deal, right? I went by the house and looked at it. It looks great. It had a great feel, whatever. If you've got generic, a lot of people have their brokerage or some company sending out these generic emails. And it's so funny because I get like 5 of them at the same time from different agents, same subject. You open it up and it's like, here's how to cook shrimp etouffee. And I'm like, what the fuck? I can Google something if I want to eat. You know what I mean? I don't need my agent to send me recipes or how to cook, what color to paint my walls in the fall, right? I don't need that generic information. And that's why, they may have a great relationship with the client sees that, and they see their name, that it stays in front of them, but it's not really bringing them any value, right? So the way that you bring them value, you know how clients spell value? It's TIME. When they look at the email, they know it went out to everybody, but when they realize, wait a minute, he spent some time here to tell his audience about his experience at this restaurant and how he liked it and how I should go there too. And he's also going to give me an opportunity to win a gift card. That's value. When you say prices are, our inventory in Sacramento is down 40%, and here's the chart. Inventory is down 40%, and underneath it's like inventory is down a whole lot from last year, but guess what? 63% of people are still listing their properties. And I'm out here grinding. Whatever your little thing is, when you add your 2 cents into social media is a good place to talk about this, to have this conversation, because a lot of people do generic content, right? And they lose. It doesn't win until you spend time creating the content, right? Emails, how many times a day do you think people check their email? All day long, right? How many times do you think they check social media? All day long, right? Now, what's the motion, the physical motion that they do when they check their email? What's the physical motion when they check their social media? Same thing, right? Email is a social media platform. It is social media. It's a place that you post original, consistent content to your audience. Same thing. It's just a different format. It's a different platform. All the platforms are different. You need to think of email as another social media platform that's a must. Now, all the other social media platforms have a what? 5% organic reach, 10% at the most, where 5 or 10% of your followers actually see the content that you post. Is that true? How many people in your database of an email do you think see the email in their inbox? They may not open it, but how many do you think see it? Well, I showed you 40% actually opened it, right? That's a lot more than the 10% that see a social media post right there. Not to mention the people that aren't opening it, who appreciate seeing it, who open it 3 weeks in a row in 4 years because now they're interested and call me on the 5th week and say, I want to buy and sell this. That's where the magic is. Just the fact that they see it. That's what's so crazy. A lot of people are like, what do I put in my email? Most of the people that are going to do business with you aren't even opening your emails because they're just not interested in buying or selling anything right now. But when they do become more and more interested, they will begin to open them and then they will call you. What was your question? Oh, I wouldn't really think too hard about it, man. I would just, did you see the thing, startmyweeklyemail.com? Just go there and get a template. I'm about to have the 4-week, 1, 2, 3, 4. In the next couple weeks, it'll be a Ricky Carruth tab and constant contacts for those 4 templates. They already create a custom template for you, just like mine, with your information, your website, your headshot, everything. They already do that. Just do that and just bring value about the local market. Not national stats, not generic information, real, local stuff that people are interested in, and then give your 2 cents on it.
Hey Ricky, my name is Constantine with Paul Baker. I've been watching you for a while.
Hey, Constantine Pakatika.
Sorry. My name's Constantine with Paul Baker. Actually, one of my friends appeared on your cold calling videos. This is Davron. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my question is, you were talking about becoming friends with the homeowners. When you do that, how often do you call them? Do you rely more on the weekly email to build that relationship with them, or how often do you call them? And what do you talk about? Do you provide a little bit of value each time and try to get to know them? Because a lot of times they're rushed on the phone, they think they know what you're calling about, and they just want to get it done over with.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I never called them. Why would I? See, the problem is that I'm trying to create a business that sends me residual business every day with very little effort. If I just imagine a world where I just send an email out every week and 2 deals fall in my lap, right? Isn't that what we want? I don't want to build a business around, I have to call these people every year. That's great and everything, but part of the magic that makes what I'm saying work is volume. Because this isn't going to work for everyone. There's some people that want the calls every year and they're going to do business with another agent. That's okay. All I want are the people that appreciate that. See, the way that I retain clients is not calling them once a year. It's when they need something, they know how I'm going to handle it. I'm jumping right on it. I'm calling them right back. I'm going to work for them. I'm going to war for them. And when they do a deal, it goes so smooth. And they're like, I don't care what happens. I'm never going to use anybody else but Ricky, because this is how real estate is supposed to be done. When you give them that great experience, you don't have to call them every year. When they see your name in that inbox every single week, they're like, there he is, consistent, dependable, hardworking, honest, professional, knowledgeable, everything I want in an agent, right there. That's who I want. He took care of me. He took care of my sister. He sends me an email every week loaded with value. That's my guy. I don't care what happens. Now, you're going to have different sectors in your database. You're going to have the people that are loyal to you that will never use another agent ever again in their life, which is like this big. Then you're going to have another sector of your database of people that might use you this time, that might use another agent the next time. That's okay. And then you've got this outer edge, which is the largest edge of people that will never use you. They have another agent. They da-da-da-da-da. Right? Just realize not everybody's going to be a loyal client. The name of the game here, guys, is volume. You heard what I said. You want 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 people in this database. And I'm not trying to create new jobs for myself where I have to do things every year. That's stressful. I want to create an easy, simple, scalable business.
So back to your weekly email. What are your thoughts?
Back to it. That's all we've talked about.
What are your thoughts on shooting a video for that, like Bomb or something like that?
I never did it. Bomb wasn't around when I got started with all this. Putting a YouTube link in my email sends them off out of my ecosystem into YouTube's ecosystem. If I put a YouTube link in my email, they watch it. Now YouTube says, oh, they're interested in real estate in Sacramento. Let's send them all these videos about real estate in Sacramento with all these other real estate agents, right? I literally just handed my client over to the pack of wolves on YouTube, right? I know Bomb is embedded into the thing and it doesn't do that or whatever. When I used Bomb, I remember I had to click and it went to like a web page to see the video. Does it still do that? No, it's actually in the email. I think it's okay if it's like that. Another way you can do YouTube videos in the email is embed that video on a web page on your website and send them the link of the website of that URL. Have the video embedded, through YouTube or whatever, and then, have a link where they can click to set an appointment or whatever. Say whatever you wanted to say. But be careful sending people to other platforms, is all I would say about that. If you want to do videos in your email and you're not sending them to other platforms, knock yourself out. That's fine. I'm not going to do it because I don't even feel like email is even a video platform. Remember I said it was like a social media platform? I look at it more like a blog style platform where people just, here's the difference. And this is why I don't like it. The reason why Uber, Amazon, even Facebook and Apple and all these companies have become so big is because they save people time, right? And so when people literally click on a sales email and look at it literally for 1 second. Now, if they got to sit through a 2-minute, a 30-second, a 3-minute video, chances are most people are not going to open up the rest of my emails. If they can't click on it and literally get everything in a matter of seconds, get in and out, get that value and leave. If they want to see new listings, boom, they click on it, they look at it, boom, they're out. If they wanted to see what that stat was, boom, okay, prices are up, I'm out. Whatever that little thing was they wanted to see, if they can't get in and out, then they're going to be out. They're going to unsubscribe. That's my thoughts on it. Is video is for the video platforms, and I don't think email is a video platform. I think it's a platform people want to be in and out.
Hi, Ricky. Good afternoon. Nathan Benich, broker, Hesty Realty in Silicon Valley. I wanted to follow up with you regarding making cold calls and social media through your day, your daily massive action plan.
Yeah.
A couple questions. One, do you go for listing appointments yourself? And then two, would you dump your cold calls or social media during that time frame to get that appointment, to physically go and do all the paperwork?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna make them myself, and it depends on what it is. There's four. The four highest priorities for an agent. Okay, showing property, listing appointments, writing offers, and negotiating offers. So if it's one of those four things, one of those four things trump everything else, including calls. If somebody wants to write an offer, if they want me to look at a house to see what it's worth, if they want to, if I get a counter offer back on something, not repair addendum, okay? I can wait. I can ignore that for several hours. I'm talking about getting a deal done, negotiating. Time is of the essence. If it's negotiating, writing, somebody says, "Hey, remember the house we saw yesterday? Yeah, well, me and my wife, we want to write an offer right now." I'm done. What do you want to write? How you want to write it? I'm writing it right now. I don't care what's going on. So yeah, if it's one of those four things, of course, I'll dump making calls. If it's not one of those four things, and this is the problem that you're making, that everyone's making, they're taking something that's not one of these four things, and they're thinking that trumps calls, and it doesn't. There's exceptions to the rule here and there, but 99.9% of the time, anything else does not trump the call session. And the call session is actually what sets you up for the residual business where you just do an email or post something and you do deals fall in your lap. That's what the calls are building up. It's building up your short and long-term business, and you're not doing it because you want to look up properties for a buyer or repair addendum requests. You can do that afterwards. Think about it like this. If you're showing property, all right, you're walking through houses, and you're right there face to face with your buyer. You're walking through, you're looking at all the stuff, and your phone starts to ring in your pocket. Are you going to answer it? Nope. You're not even going to look at it. You don't even know what it is, right? But if you're making calls and your phone rings, what are you going to do? Look at it. Oh no, it's Johnny. He has a repair addendum request I have to handle right now. I have to skip these calls. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, future self. Because every call session you skip, it pushes your dream out another 3 months. I'm sorry, future self. We'll have to delay that awesome life another 3 months. Mom. If you can ignore the call for the buyer walking through the house then what's the difference? Why can't we ignore these situations when we're doing it? Even, I just said it's a higher priority to show houses, but when that opportunity is not around, the calls are the highest priority. And when you're dumping the highest priority for whatever that call was, that's a problem. And you're not working on, and this is something we all have, I had a lot of trouble with this too, don't get me wrong. But it's something I want to try to help you understand today. The 4 things are negotiating deals, writing offers, showing property, and listing appointments. I'll stop anything to go do one of those 4 activities. That's why I make calls. I've got a girl in Panama City, she's crushing it. She went from 75,000 to 500,000 last year. Like she did 75 like 2-3 years ago, she did 500. She's like, I don't have time to make calls. I'm like, well, what are you doing? Well, I'm showing property, I'm writing offers, I'm negotiating, I'm going to listing appointments. I'm like, well, that's why you made all the calls for so long, is to get to this place where you're just deal after deal after deal. But she's scared her business is going to suffer because she's letting the foot off the gas of what got her there, right? And this is a big struggle. And she doesn't have a great admin. That's kind of the next step. You got to have a great admin when you get to that level. If a great admin will double your business overnight, a bad admin will drive your business straight into the ground.
Ricky, in regards to everything that you've done to build your weekly emails that go out every day, how did you build your database? I know you're huge on making phone calls. Did you ever go door knock at any of your
No, I didn't have to. I would have if phone calls didn't work. I mean, once I hit that, I'm like, I can sit in the AC. Dude, I roofed houses for like 10 years. All right? You think I'm going to go out and walk around in the sun, looking at the roofs, like having flashbacks and stuff? Like, no. No. If I can sit in the AC, that's another thing. We're spoiled to death. I mean, think about it. Would you want to go roof houses or be a janitor or paint houses or work a 9 to 5? This is as much physical activity as you guys do all day. That's all you do. And then you do a few curls. We're spoiled. In here complaining, I'm scared to make calls. Well, go get a job.
They make $30,000 a year.
Go serve tables. Go do something else then. This whole business is predicated on you talking to people you don't know to help them buy and sell real estate. And you don't want to do the exact thing that this business is predicated on. Why'd you get your license? I don't know. Why are you scared to make calls? I don't know. Rejection. Okay? When you call a Zillow lead and they say, why are you calling? That's your answer? Oh, I'm going to rent. I might rent something in next year. That's a Zillow lead. People crush it with Zillow, and that's great. Listen, every single thing works. Again, you can take Zillow and you can build this huge buyer business where all these buyers buy over the next 5 years, and you sell hundreds of properties who now are what? Property owners. It works. Do I want to spend $1 million to get there? No. I can get 10 years worth of data, of expired data, and 7,500 property owners of my choice in my market with cell phones and emails for a couple of $100s a month. You want to give her the mic? Behind you.
I'm happy to just yell too. Thanks for being here today with us. So I have followed you for the last couple of years. I got my license just in my 3rd year right now. And I don't cold call. It's kind of not my thing, but we followed you along to know that anything works. And so we get 99% of our business from social media. And we have not felt necessarily the downturn in the market just because we're like working like 100 hours a week right now.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see, because we watch your videos on YouTube every day or on Instagram every day, is there a point where you're putting out too much content a day, or how
No.
many videos would you?
No, I need to be
put
putting out more content.
So if you're putting out how many posts a day, I mean, it's not, oh, I'm putting out too much and people are gonna.
I don't think there's ever too much, honestly.
Okay. So would you fill that time in then from 9 to noon by putting out content or shooting videos or?
No, I have to talk to people or no business is going to get done. If I'm making content, right, you do it to get leads, and then when do you talk to them?
When they message us.
Right, but you pick up the phone and call them though, is what I'm saying, right? So, I mean, there has to be time where you're actually talking and doing the deals and following up and stuff like that, right? I mean, do you have people that message you and then tell you certain things, they want to do this, they want to do that, whatever the case may be, and then do you build up this ongoing list of people that might do stuff with you but haven't yet?
Yes.
When do you sit down and call that list?
Immediately.
You call the people you're following up with on an ongoing basis just immediately, just 24/7, like every second you dial the number and be like, hey, it's me again.
No, well, no, I mean, I do it every few weeks.
Every few weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I'm getting at. Like, there's a time where you do sit down and make those calls. And I would fear to say that your business would more than quadruple and even quintuple and 10x if you were talking to more people. You may or may not agree, I don't know.
No, I do.
And so that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, the more people you talk to, the more business you're gonna do. So if you're doing a lot of content, don't go all in on more content, go all in on more talking to people. Because that's what, if you've got enough content, how many posts are you doing a day?
One, sometimes.
One or two is great for an agent, right? You're not a full-time content creator, you're a full-time real estate agent. To do one a day is really good for an agent, especially if it's really value-packed, I wouldn't go all in more content if you've got that leg in place and you've got a nice pace that you can keep. If you got extra time in your hands, I would say, who can I call that might want to buy or sell something today? Let me ramp business up. You know what I mean? Maybe it's people that responded to social media stuff over the last few years. Maybe you have this huge database of people since you've been doing this so long. You have thousands of people that you have a list of somewhere. Hopefully you have that list somewhere that you can go back through and call, hey, remember me? Yeah, I'm still seeing your posts. Man, you're doing amazing. Great. Are you looking to do anything? What can I do to help? I'm always here, kind of thing, So I think if you spend more time making calls, I think your business would explode past making more content. You know what I mean? I've never done a deal where I didn't talk to somebody. Right? Has anybody done a deal where they didn't talk to the person? Right. The conversation is the key to all closings. Maybe you meet them on social, but however you have the conversation, that's what's between you and the closing, is the conversation, the connection, the relationship, helping them do what they're trying to do. That's what's between you and the closing, is the conversation. That's how it all starts. Maybe it was I called them out of the blue. Maybe they saw me on social and messaged me. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter to me. But if I know that, my business is no social. Because I know that. And I'm like, well, if that's the key, then let me just have conversations and not focus on any. If I can, you know what billionaires tell you? They say they focus on one thing a day. And when that one thing is done, they're done for the day. That's what most billionaires will tell you. Of course, they can afford that, right? But there's something to be said about that. And it comes back to what I do, just a weekly email, right? Call them, great first impression, weekly email, right? Simple. I don't know where the mic is. Let's do 2 more questions. There's a couple right here. Listen, I know this guy has wanted from the very beginning. Oh, you aren't the mic runner. You are the guy. Go ahead. I'm like, shit, come on, mic runner.
Hey, Ricky, how's it going?
Hey, bud.
I've watched one of your videos, maybe. I don't really know.
It's an easy number to know if you...
Yeah, I'm just guessing. I've seen your face on YouTube at least.
Okay.
But I was wondering with the emails, when you're talking to people for that one call you make to them, and you make the first impression,
Yep.
if they're giving you trouble about getting their email, do you push it at all, or you just forget it?
Of course. That's the only time I'm ever going to talk to them in my life.
Right.
Why would I just leave? Of course I'm going to push for it, right? Give me an example.
So like you ask for their email, so you have a good conversation already, ask for the email and say, hey, what's your email? And then it's just like, oh, well, I don't give out my
Well, I wouldn't give it to you either if you did that. Right?
Right.
You see, the problem is you're one video in. What you have to do is have the great conversation and say, listen, man, do you have an agent around here that you normally work with? No? Well, listen, I'd love to work with you when the time comes. Would it be okay if I stayed in touch with you? Oh, yes? Verbal confirmation? Great. What's a good email? Bam. If you just say, hey, man, what's your email? They're like, you know? Or if you say, let me send you a market report. And they're thinking, here comes shrimp etouffee. Right? You have to make everything seem personable, right? So we're not going to call like a subdivision and say, hey, I'm just calling all your neighbors. I'm calling everybody in the subdivision, letting them know about this thing. Really? I'm just a number on your list? You're going through the motions of just calling a bunch of people and I just happen to be somebody that's on your list? No. Hey, Mr. Johnson, it's Ricky Carruth over here. How you doing today? Right? Personable. I'd love to stay in touch with you. Does that be okay? Great. What's a good email? Right? So you got to just switch it up just a little bit, man. Keep watching.
Thank you. I will.
This gentleman in the front, he was the very first one that raised his hand.
Oh, that's all right.
Oh, Gary? Barry. It's like a rumble in here. Barry.
I barely need a microphone.
Barry barely needs a mic.
So you talked earlier about your constant contact. I'm assuming that's the product that is working good for you right now. And your 40% open rate, that's awesome. As I build my database to 10,000 people, which is a great goal, thank you for that. I'll put it on my board. What's a cancellation rate that I should be alarmed if it goes over or satisfied if it stays under?
I wouldn't even look at it.
Wow.
Yeah, I never looked at it. It doesn't matter to me because my job is to filter through the population and find the people that love me that want to do business. And the ones that don't, see, if I don't do the weekly email, I'm catering to the people that don't want to see it versus the people who really do want to see it, who love me forever. I'm not catering to them. I want to cater to the people that love me. So I'm going to send the email. I'm going to let the ones that don't want it unsubscribe and let them go use a flat fee brokerage somewhere, right? The one joke I told, you guys didn't even laugh. I never looked at it. I never cared. I didn't even look at open rates. The only reason I look now is because I'm showing people. But as I was building my business, didn't even look at it. Didn't care.
I love not being able to care. I love that.
My thing was, Dad. My thing was, I'm building this thing, and so I'm in it. I'm in the middle of it. So I can't get caught up in the micro ebbs and flows. I'm looking at the macro. Like at the time, I'm trying to get to 100 deals a year and $1 million a year in commissions. So 3 people that unsubscribed this week, what did that mean to me? A lot of people are like, well, did you try to call those people? I'm like, I never even saw them. I don't even know who they were that unsubscribed. You know what I mean?
Right.
It might have been somebody that I had a great conversation with. It might have been past clients who actually bought properties from me that unsubscribed, that we had a great experience. I don't know. And sometimes it will accidentally unsubscribe people I've found, where they'll accidentally click something, or they will forward it to their friend who thought it was from me or something, and they unsubscribe, and they don't realize they're unsubscribing their buddy that sent it because it was their link at the bottom, right? So there's things that can happen. Who cares? Again, my thing is volume. I need 10,000, and I need them now. One more from, or maybe 2. Keep it at 2? Yeah, we keep it at 2.
Thanks for coming.
Sound like my daughter.
So when you say
2 more minutes, 4 more minutes.
What do you recommend we do?
Whatever you want to do. There's so many different platforms. I don't know if you like to do video, if you want to write blogs, if you want to write blogs on social media, if you want to, create great call to actions in your stories, if you want to document your day, I don't know. It depends on what you're good at. There's written word, there's pictures, there's video, and then there's all the different platforms. So I don't know what you're good at. Everybody's different. You know what I mean? And there's podcasts. So there's audio, there's written, there's pictures, and there's video. Whatever. It's 4 different, things you can do on social. Maybe you don't look great on camera. Maybe you're really nervous, or maybe whatever, and but you have a great voice and you know a lot of stuff. Maybe you just want to do a podcast, and maybe you send that podcast in your weekly email or something. Maybe you interview the mayor of Sacramento and restaurant owners and politicians and stuff on your podcast. I don't know what you're going to do. You got to figure that out, right? But you don't have to do everything. You figure out what you're good at, social media wise, and then you go all in with that and try to use that as your platform to try to gain some traction in terms of an audience.
Okay, sorry, Matt. I wish I read your profile earlier, but here you go. You were with Remax for 18 years, and now
No, I was with them for 10 years.
18 years here, by the way.
I mean, I don't know what that
So anyway,
what that means or where you got that.
I just want to know how important it is to...
Not at all.
Like the broker part?
Not at all.
Not at all?
Nope.
Okay, because
As long as you're somewhere where somebody is going to show you the way, right? If you've got support, right, especially as a new agent, if you've got someone that will help you through those beginning stages of learning how to write a contract and how to talk to people and where to find property owners and what to say and how to show property and how to look stuff up on MLS, all that 101 real estate stuff, as long as somebody's there to help you learn that stuff. But I'll tell you this, there's not a single brokerage out there that's going to make you a top producer. None of them, right?
You don't need to pay a lot of money.
They don't do nothing, right? Brokerages do nothing, right? What they do is their name is at the top of the contract, right? Do y'all put the name of the brokerage at the top of the contract like we do, right? And guess what? They don't even put it up there. We do. We write it. They didn't get you that deal. They didn't negotiate that deal. They didn't go through all the hell you had to go through to find that deal and service that deal. They didn't do any of that stuff. They didn't put it on MLS. They didn't upload documents to the cloud. They didn't do nothing. They're just a place where you hang your license and pay rent for most of you.
Yeah.
The top producers, they just go be top producers. It's like this. I had a coach for like 4 months one time because I made $600K one year and I thought I'm going to make $1 million the next year, and I didn't make it. I was on my way to make $600K again. I became really down on myself. What's wrong with me? So I hired a coach thinking this was going to help me figure out the secret sauce. And that was back in 2015. And basically what I learned that year was patience, that I was doing all the right things. I just had to be patient. And then 2 more years, I hit the $1 million. Well, fast forward I don't know, what was it? 6 or 7 years later, that same guy, the coach, big guy, big name in the industry, he said, because we still talk, and he said, because I was talking to him about new agents and top producers and blah, 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 and he said, man, listen, if you wouldn't have hired me as your coach, would you still have crushed it? I was like, you're damn right. And he said, there you go, right? I can spend every single waking minute with somebody who's not going to make it, and they still ain't going to make it. And I can spend every waking hour with a top producer, and they're still going to leave the team or do something, whatever, right? And that really puts things into perspective. The losers are going to go lose no matter what you do. And the winners are going to go win no matter where they are or what you do, right? So be a winner. Realize that winners win, losers lose. Don't be a loser. Thank you, guys.